to another Daily Digest video. I am Merriam, and today I'm going to be playing with a little bit of Mono Green Devotion. This is a ramp deck using Utopia Sprawl and Arbor Elf. So nice that we have both in our opening hand. They're going to generate a ton of mana, and rather than go over the top with Tooth and Nail or Genesis Wave like previous versions of this deck, this version is playing Summoner's Pact. So you have the entire sort of spectrum of this version of the deck right in our opening hand. Have 3 lands, a couple ramp spells, so this is going to be perfect. Definitely going to keep this. And see if our opponent also keeps 7. They have mulligan to 6. Perfect. So we're going to play turn 1 Arbor Elf here, and then next turn we can play a land, Utopia Sprawl, the untapped land, to generate 4 mana. Maybe Summoner's Pact for something, although that'll be risky given that we'll die if our Arbor Elf dies. So I guess we'll see what we draw. And then the next turn we should be able to play this Rurikthar. As long as everything lives. Well, scratch that. Guess this Inquisition is going to take a Utopia Sprawl. Now we're going to need to find some more stuff. Might end up having to take a risk with this Pact or fall too far behind. That is not a bad one. Let's just play the Scavenging Ooze and attack for 1. Definitely going to want to get in incidental damage with this deck because we're winning with the combat phase. We have 3 copies of Nissa, Voice of Zendikar. Our Confidant is quite good. And against a removal heavy deck like this, I'm just not comfortable firing off the Pact yet. We'll wait till next turn. And I'm not sure what we're going to fire it off for. Could be Acidic Slime. Could be, I don't know, maybe a Thrun. Thrun's pretty good in this matchup. But I'm definitely going to offer the trade with this Dark Confidant. And probably just spend this turn exiling some cards with Scavenging Ooze. But we can wait on that. And let's see what this Dark Confidant reveals. Tarmogoyf. Well, Scavenging Ooze keeps Tarmogoyf pretty well in check. So, sure, I will take 2. And they play the Goyf. Okay. They have a land. If they hadn't played a land, I certainly would have slimed to them this turn, give them the old slime ball. But now I'm just going to exile some things. Make this Goyf small, get rid of our enchantment. And is it better? I think it's better to just keep exiling things, but I do want to get a stopping ground for this Rurikthar. I guess I could wait on that for a little while at least, because I have another fetch in hand. I might end up just doing it next turn, but there could be a string of draws where I end up not having to take that shock. But for now, we'll just keep this Goyf really small. Well, okay then. So now we don't have to Summoner's Pact for Thrun. We're well away from Hornet Queen. We have the Rurik on our hand. We're well away from Craterhoof. I think I'm certainly just gonna play the Thrun this turn, and that will let us fetch for the Stomping Ground without taking any damage. And then we'll still get to attack for 2 here. We already have the Ooze. I don't really see what we're pacting for. I guess we'll just hold it and end up pacting for Hornet Queen or Craterhoof. These black-green mid-range decks basically can't beat a Hornet Queen. It's just too many things. Funeral Charm. Funeral Charm. Well, I guess they're going to kill our Arbor Elf here. That's what I'd do. Yep. but that's fine. I'm gonna remove the now. I'm gonna remove especially with the second Goyf coming down. I'm gonna take the damage and remove the Arbor Elf. We'll gain one of that life back, go up to 15, and I mean we just have we're just playing a fair game and winning. We drew some of our better cheap fair threats. Yeah, our opponent didn't have an answer to this ooze, which is nice because that made their Goyfs pretty bad. Oh no! Oh, I just snapped off targeting their graveyard. Well, that was stupid. Trying to talk and play at the same time. And so I could Garrick untap 2 lands, exile these 2 things. I'll have a Garrick on 4, be able to attack for 7, and then our opponent will have to put something in the graveyard to kill our Garrick, attack with all of their things, and be able to survive the crackback and their 2 Bob triggers when they're 4, which does not seem likely. I guess they could chump block with 1 Goyf and put 2 things in the graveyard. But is there really any reason for me to expose the Garrick? Probably not. I'm just going to continue making their things really small, leave up some mana, and probably have them in chump block mode this turn. They might chump block with the Dark Confidant this turn, rather than go to 4. And just be left with 2 0/1s. Okay, well, I guess not. Maybe Liliana plus a creature could be good. Or Liliana plus another removal spell, I mean. Reveals Overgrown Tomb, that's not a bad one. Let's just get rid of these. They have an Overgrown Tomb, we know that. Yeah, just can't beat Thrun. I mean, we would have had it that turn anyway with the Summoner's Pact. Maybe our Goyfs would have gotten out of hand because we would have had to spend a turn paying for the Pact rather than using Scavenging Ooze, but this will look good. Our opponent is straight black-green, so Blood Moon, unlike against Jund or Abzan, I don't think is going to be very good. But I am going to want sort of sticky threats. I like Kitchen Finks, I like Thragtusk, and I like the other Primal Command. I just want to get a little bit smaller in this matchup. I think I want to just cut the Craterhoof Behemoth. Our opponent's going to try to kill most of our stuff, so and we can just win a fair game. I'm not sure about the Rurik Thar. Might try it out. I have to cut 3 more cards. I don't really want to cut any of the low end. Maybe Garrick isn't as good if we're trying to be on a big rampy plan. This is Acidic Slime. Our opponent probably does have Hissing Quagmire as a creature land for us to hit, but that's not as important as hitting something like Raging Ravine out of Jund. Their mana base isn't as exploitable. The body is kind of nice still, but overall a lower impact card that I'm fine cutting. And again, because we're not going super big, maybe I want to cut a Garrick. Our opponent's pretty good at attacking Planeswalkers, and this is much better at protecting itself. And then Oath of Nissa is good. Maybe I want to cut a Summoner's Pact. I do think 4 Summoner's Pact might be a lot. I really don't want to flood on this card, so let's just cut one of those and see what happens here. Well, we do not have a turn 1 mana creature, but we have a pretty strong sequence of plays in Emissary and Nissa, and then we can get up to Primeval Titan and start using Kessig Wolf Run. So I think I'm going to keep this. I'm not really super interested in having a really fast hand. I'm just interested in having a good amount of resources in a matchup where we're going to trade 1 for 1 a lot. So 3 lands, a Planeswalker is important. No discard spell from the opponent is nice. But I assume that comes with either a Tarmogoyf or a Dark Confidant here on turn 2. If they didn't have one of their strong turn 1 plays, yeah, they definitely have to have one of their strong turn 2 plays. And that could end up being an issue. Um, do I want to play Emissary? If my opponent has Liliana, that could get awkward, but I think I'd rather them... I guess it doesn't matter much, actually. It's worse against Liliana to play the Emissary, but it's just better normally because it saves me 2 damage. So I don't think I'm willing to just give up 2 damage in case they have Liliana when it's not that bad. It's getting an Emissary instead of a Nissa. Or instead of a Nissa token. And let's see what's up. Verdant Catacombs. I assume that land will come down immediately. Yep. Oh. Well, that's a thing. Maybe I'm supposed to be bringing in Sudden Shock to kill Bob. Bob is really good. But I don't... That just seems so weak. I'm just going to make a plant and hope I get to untap here. Because if I do, then I can make 4 mana with... I guess I can make 4 mana with Nykthos, but then untap Nykthos. Yeah, untap Nykthos in another land, and then make 6 mana after Garruk. So if I get another unmolested turn, then I'm going to be playing Primeval Titan. And that should go over the top of anything my opponent does. And I can't... Funeral Charm... I can't imagine they don't kill the Burning Tree Emissary here. But Tasker Funeral Charm does not do it. And made them take a bunch of damage. That's kind of nice. So I know 2 of their 7 cards. I guess here they get to either kill Nissa or Emissary because of the Funeral Charm. Well, yeah, they just killed all my stuff. And now my Garruks do not look good. Okay, well, I guess this is another Summoner's Pact for Thrun game, but Thrun is bad against Tasigur. My opponent is likely to just play their Tasigur next turn. I don't see what else I can get, though. I kind of wish I had like, Oracle of Moldiah. Something to get more lands with this Summoner's Pact. I could play a Garruk and just minus it to make a beast. And hope my opponent doesn't have another removal spell. Because then next turn I could play Primeval Titan. Or I get to kill a Dark Confidant for free. And then we can go through the same Song and Dance next turn with Garruk. I do think I want to get to Primeval Titan as quickly as possible. So why don't we try that? Make a beast. This is a kind of a risky proposition, given that my opponent has 2 Bobs, can easily just find a removal spell, but... Well, those were also 2 not very good ones, so that's nice. I guess Funeral Charm will let them kill my beast after I block with it. I imagine this Nykthos is dying to that Ghost Quarter. But I'm not super concerned about that. Also not super concerned about Tarmogoyf, especially because it sort of stops Tasker from being good. This also may force a Summoner's Pact for Scavenging Ooze. I could get rid of Planeswalker and Creature from my graveyard. Have another 3/3 on the battlefield and shrink the Goyf to 3/4. Oh man. Smallpox? Ugh. Well, that I just wasn't expecting. I guess Funeral Charm makes a lot more sense now. Well then. I'm gonna discard Rurik. My opponent discards our Warg. Yeah, sacrifice this. They get rid of a Dark Confidant, and they can now still kill my Garruk, and they're under less pressure on their own life total. And I'm down to 3 lands. I guess it's a good thing I did in the Summoner's Pact. But this game is not looking good. Because now I can't really cast any of the spells in my hand. Well, Eternal Witness was actually a great draw. Get some Devotion. I think I'm just going to target the land. I guess they sacrificed the Ghost Quarter, so I should get back Burning Tree Emissary. But is my Eternal Witness going to live? Probably not, but it might be my only way to win this game. I can get back Emissary, next turn make 4 mana, play Garruk maybe, and then Pact for like an Ooze or something. Oh no, I can Pact for another Burning Tree Emissary, and then play Primeval Titan. Yeah, that just has to be the play. I just have to constantly go for one free turn, and then that'll get me back into it. Opponent has Funeral Charm, Tasigur in hand. Ugh, no, not Thoughtseize. Don't Thoughtseize me. I only have the one Primeval Titan. Oh, this is always a bad plan because I have the Funeral Charm for my Eternal Witness. Well, I guess I could still draw another Emissary. They might be a little gun shy on the Thoughtseize because of Dark Confidant. I don't know how many Taskers are in their deck, but they have lethal here with the Treetop Village and Tasker. Assuming they have a bunch of lands, so they can exile without Shrinking Goyf. And this is 14 with the Tasigur. So they have more Taskers in their deck. They might be completely unwilling to even put themselves to a point where they have 1 out to lose. The reverse 1-outer. Smallpox. Black-green Smallpox. Well, exile 5 cards, which suggests they're playing another spell here. Well, I guess not. Oath is not very good. So even if I packed for another Burning Tree Emissary, play them, make 4 green with Nykthos, play Garruk, make a beast. I can then only lose 1 thing, and so I really couldn't beat a removal spell, but that still just might be my best play, because otherwise I'm just gonna die. So let's just go for it. A land there would have actually been nice, because then a land there, and I could safely pay for Pact, and I could get Burning Tree Emissary, make 4 mana, play Garruk, untap Nykthos in a land, play the land from my hand, make 6, and play Primeval Titan. So I guess my Burning Tree Emissary find was still good, because I'm just need to rip a land. But instead, we will just be playing our things. Kind of came close. I think if we play Primeval Titan there, and then have Garruk, Primetime, 2 Emissaries with Casting Wolfrun in play with our opponent at 8, we might be in good shape. Let's make green, play Garruk, and unfortunately now 1 mana away from reactivating Nykthos, so I'll just make a beast. And hope there's another Tasker on top of my opponent's deck. Tarmogoyf, that's not the worst. Now we might have some outs if we can survive this turn. Be interesting to see where these creatures go, because I need to keep 4 devotion in play to pay for the pact. They're just both going at Garrick. I mean, I can't, I have to sacrifice 2 devotion, and I guess it's better to keep the Garrick in play. Right? So I guess we'll chump block both. Okay. Yeah, Thoughtseize. A little interesting here that my opponent is now willing to go to 4 on this turn. Presumably that would the rack. Well, that's a tilt. Now I'm probably dead. I guess my opponent probably knows they don't have another 4. Let's make green first, because I assume the rack is going to kill my Garrick. Yep. And let's hope that this Bob is kind. That's a Thoughtseize, so not going to be good enough. And now our opponent is a... Maybe we want the Acidic Slime now that we know our opponent has the rack. Definitely don't want Crater Hoof. And Pact might be a liability. How good is Primal Command? I think it's good. I think it might just be better than Pact, which I guess once we get to this amount of mana, 5, then Pact is still good. But it's only Smallpox, so we really only have to worry about Pacting on turn 4. Garrick just really hasn't been good. If you can't establish a big battlefield, Garrick is really difficult to defend. So it's really only good in your undisrupted starts. But I also just want to lower my curve. Maybe I just want to take out this Rurik. Just have too many high drops. If they're going to cut down on my mana by trading a lot of cards, I don't really want big expensive spells. I want to still be able to cast things. Yeah, definitely playing first. And a fine hand. We've got some Acceleration, Oath to Dig for some gas, and Eternal Witness for a little bit of card advantage. My guess is Witness is going to just eat it to an Inquisition or something on turn 1, though. But we're going to have plenty of mana this game. I guess I'll choose green. And we'll have a good amount of devotion if the Oath and Sprawls sit and play. Yeah, Thoughtseize. So to play around Smallpox, I'm going to hold the Nykthos and play Wooded Foothills, and I'm going to sprawl the same land, and then I'll have 1 free land to get rid of. And I think I'll just get another basic forest and sprawl on red for red mana. Just so if this thing died, if I got Stomping Ground and sprawled on green, he could cut me off red mana with a Smallpox. Well, now I can just, with another way to find a Stomping Ground, now I'm all set. So that's now we'll just get a basic forest and name green off this sprawl. Yeah, name green. Play this. And if we hit a 2 mana thing, we can play it. Huh. Well, hit 3 lands, so flooding a bit here. Just need to find a threat. I have plenty of mana. I guess I'll find Stomping Ground. I guess could find a second copy of Nykthos against Ghost Quarter, but I don't foresee Nykthos being super important here. And yeah, this land is now getting Ghost Quartered. So I guess we played into Ghost Quarter by trying to play around Smallpox. And yeah, I'll use Ghost Quarter's ability. Hmm. Hmm. Need to find something good. That doesn't really count. Oh, come on, deck. Come on, deck. What do we have? Swamp. Okay, well, they still appear to not have green mana. No, there it is. Come on. Need something big. Well, that could be an issue. Now Thrun is bad. We don't really have any pressure. And that Liliana is going to be ticking up towards ultimate. I will correct this fetch, find a second stomping ground. Nope. Something good. Come on. Oh, getting so punished. If I had split the Utopia Sprawls, I'd be playing a Primeval Titan right now. Oh, man. Oh, um, I don't like. There's no draw here that gets us to playing Primeval Titan, so I don't really think there's a point in it. So I'm just gonna play lands. We could just rip a bunch of lands into something like a Hornet Queen. Um, ugh. Well, I guess the good news is that they're not really casting that Smallpox anytime soon. Is that the same swamp as this one? Yep. Oh, oh no. Oh, I can't count. Oh, I'm so bad. Uh, well, that's just embarrassing. I just had 6 mana and ripped the perfect card. Well, I guess not the perfect card. I would have played Primeval Titan, found 2 more lands, and had it die to Liliana. But I'd have a bunch of more lands in play, including Kessig Wolf Run. None of these is particularly good. They're all just dying to removal spells. And the rack will ensure that Nissa dies. I just don't think there's anything we can do here. Had we Primeval Titan, I guess even Prime Time wouldn't have been great. We would have still had to find Hornet Queen or Summoner's Pact for Hornet Queen. Um, Obviously, still should have done it, but we'd have Nissa, we'd have Liliana too. So I guess that would make any other creatures better. We might be able to actually kill down this Liliana, play Scavenging Ooze, gain some life back, buy more time. But as of now, we're just buried. Um, well, you got to see some of what this deck does. It's definitely better playing fair than some of the other Green Devotion decks. It doesn't have as much high end, as much fat. So when your stuff dies, you can still play. You can play this Planeswalker grindy game and just get some beatdowns in, maybe with Run and Scavenging Ooze. But the black green decks just trade a little bit too much for a deck that wants to be on critical mass, and um, that game 3 was certainly not my finest hour. So that's going to be it for me today. You can come back and join me on Monday. Bye.